Summer is surprisingly right around the corner, as crazy as it is to say. And the reality of healthy and sustainable weight loss and having the summer body of your dreams means that you have to start now. Yes, now. Even though it's only February, about to March. We got to start now in order to do it in some healthy and sustainable ways. So today I want to share with you some habits that you can start right now to help you get closer to achieving the body that you want for the summer. So if you're ready, let's dive in. Hey mamas, Alexandria here, 35-year-old toddler mom, therapist, and gym rat. I lost nearly 40 pounds postpartum and it changed my life. So now my goal is to help other mamas and other women to be the best versions of themselves and to reach their goals. And I want to talk about summer and the summer body. Now I want to be very clear on the front end. I personally don't think you need to look a certain way in a bikini, or you don't even have to wear a bikini if you don't want to. And sometimes as moms, that is completely impossible given just the state of things. It's far too easy to have like a slip, if you know what I mean. So, but if you are one of the people who's watching this and you really want to achieve certain goals by summer, I want to give you some strategies and some habits that you can start right now in order to make that possible for you. So habit number one is just to make a plan, because when we have a plan, it's much more likely that we're going to follow through and stick with something rather than allowing the procrastination to take over. Imagine you're at home, you've got all these great goals the night before, you're going to set your alarm, you're going to get up at 6 a.m. and you're going to get that workout in and you're going to eat all that healthy stuff that you said you were going to eat, and then 6 a.m. rolls around. And because you don't have a plan, you don't know what workout you're going to do, or you don't know what you're going to actually eat that day, you end up hitting the snooze button and going back to bed. And maybe you'll try again another day. So start now. Start making a plan so that you don't have to feel like you don't have any momentum going into your journey. And the other thing is that when we have a plan, we are much more likely to stick with it than we are if we're just kind of guessing and making decisions as we go. If we've got a plan and a strategy, we have tools that we can use as sort of stepping stones as opposed to just sort of like free falling through it. And that can help us maintain that consistency rather than allowing us to get derailed by procrastination. In this plan, you want to make sure you're going to include how you plan to live in a calorie deficit, assuming that your goal is to lose some sort of weight, and also what your plan is to get more movement and exercise over the course of time. As we've talked about, there are many videos on this on the channel, so I won't spend a ton of time on all of these different things, but I'll link some videos for you that are related. You want to make sure that you're focusing on something that you're going to be able to do and sustain over a longer period of time. Now, my personal recommendation to you is going to be strength training, because that's your best bet at some body recomposition where you're essentially exchanging. I know that's not exactly correct, but you're going to basically build muscle and lose fat in order to recomposition your body. So if that's something that you're interested in doing, if you're hoping to build muscle and lose fat, then my personal recommendation is going to be strength training to you. I personally love Caroline Duravan. I've done all of her YouTube series and I'm working through the app. I'll link the video where I reviewed her whole YouTube series. So if you are interested in seeing that, I'll link that for you in a card. But you want to make sure that you have a plan for what your exercise of choice and how often you're going to do it, as well as if you plan to live in a calorie deficit, how you plan to do so. Again, my personal recommendation is going to be something along the lines of tracking, but again, you have to do what's right for you. Habit number two is you're going to start tracking and taking pictures. You're going to jumpstart your goals by taking pictures, and you're also going to start tracking the calories that you're currently eating, so you know if you're going to go into a deficit, how much of a deficit you should actually be cutting. Because what happens, I think, a lot of times is when people get hyped for things like summer or that new year, new you nonsense, is it's like, oh, let's just jump in and do everything all at one freaking time. And the problem with that is that it can be very overwhelming for us, and we can't stick to 10 new habits at one time in the same way that we can if we build one new habit at a time. So make sure that when you go in, you're tracking your calories first, and then you're going to cut about 15 to 20% of those calories, so a couple of hundred calories, and see what happens. You may be surprised at what your body will do when you cut that smaller margin of calories. Also, depending upon your size as well as your, your body composition, it may surprise you the impact that that smaller amount of calories can have on you long term and the way that your body can get started moving. The other thing that I want to encourage is take photos. Take the before and after photos. And I know how hard it can be to look at yourself in the mirror in those first before photos. I feel like everybody hates their before photos because you don't really want to stand there in like a bikini or whatever to take those like photos. I didn't. And I, to this day, like I really still don't like looking at my before photos. It's not as hard for me now because I have after photos that make me feel better about myself. But still, those before photos can be really hard to take and also to look at. But those are really important to be able to see the physical changes that your body is making that may not be reflected in the scale, because the scale can really derail us if that's the only way that we're looking to see what kind of progress we're making. And at some point during your journey, the scale is going to go up or down, or it's going to stay the same. And in order to not get derailed and stuck in that psychologically, it's really important that we make sure we have some sort of other measurement. So take your measurements, take your photos, and also track your calories to see what you're eating so that you can manage that deficit in an effective way. Strategy number 3 is you're actually going to set some sort of non-weight related goal. Yes, that's exactly what I said. You're going to set a non-weight related goal. So instead of, I want to lose 20 pounds by summer, your goal might be, I want to be able to lift 30-pound dumbbells, or I want to be able to run a 5K, or whatever that goal is that you hope to set and achieve along the road. Now, there's nothing wrong with having weight specific goals in mind, but the important thing to remember is that when we have weight specific goals in mind, it makes it much more likely for us to maintain that in the long term because we don't have anything else we're moving to. Like once we hit that 20-pound goalpost, then what? Then what's our goal? Then what's our plan moving forward? And so if we have something that we are working to achieve that's a non-weight related goal, we still have a goalpost to keep us moving, and it also helps us to build those habits that are going to sustain us in the long term. And when we do that, it's also less likely for us to get stuck on that scale number, and also less likely for us to get discouraged and get disappointed along the journey if we're only focusing on what's happening with our weight. Number 4, find an accountability partner. You are not possibly the only person who has goals for how they want to look over the summer sitting on the beach with your Mai Tai, okay? You can't possibly be, and I know I certainly have goals for summer too. My goals just might look a little different than yours. And so I say that to say, find an accountability partner. I'd love to be an accountability partner for you. And if you love this kind of content, then I would love if you would subscribe and join us on this journey together. You know, come and let me be your non-judgy mom friend who wants to help you reach your goals. And say hello in the comments so we can chat and have a conversation about what your goals are and how you hope to achieve them. And by having an accountability partner, whether it be online or in person or whatever fits best for you, you give yourself the opportunity to motivate each other and go alongside each other on this journey on the days that it will get hard, because unfortunately, the road to weight loss or healthy living is not always an easy one, and it can be very easy to get discouraged. By having an accountability partner, we can have somebody there with us who can help kind of give us that little nudge in the right direction. And finally, give yourself some grace, because while we may want a certain look for summer or a summer body, it's really important to remember that summer is not the goal. Summer body is not the end of the road, and that overall living a healthy lifestyle should be the end goal. And you're not going to get there by August or, June, July. You're not going to get there by then. In order to live a healthy lifestyle and maintain this long term, it's going to take some work and some time. So if you're not at your goal by the time summer rolls around, that's okay too. Give yourself some grace and don't get derailed. Allow yourself the opportunity to keep moving forward. And if you keep going in the direction that you're headed now towards this summer, even if you're not exactly where you want to be by this summer, by next summer, you will be, because you'll be ahead of the game because you have already started these healthy habits that got you where you need to go. And if you love this kind of video, YouTube should be recommending something else that they think you will love, and I hope you love it too. So thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye friends.